Welcome to the marketplace. In the next 30 minutes, the Institute of Fiscal Studies describes performance of Ghana's public sector revenue as very poor compared to its peers in developing nations, as the country ranked third in the world with high interest payment due to ballooning debt.
This revenue ratio is alarming and one of the highest in the world, reflecting the high cost of borrowing and low revenue mobilization. And because of these difficulties, government investment spending is falling, which will undermine the country's long-term economic growth and development.
Also, encroachment of buffer zones of quarry sites, hampering operations of mining activities worth billions of dollars. We'll hear from an advisor to the quarry industry. And later in the program, exiting KLM Dutch Airlines, Ghana manager opens up on Ghana's aviation sector. We'll engage him as today marks his last day at work. Hello once again, you're welcome to the program. We have more on these coming up shortly after this break. Do stay with us.
Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Hello and welcome. I'm Charles Aite. The Institute of Fiscal Studies has described the performance of Ghana's public sector revenue as very poor compared with its peers in developing nations. This is, it says, is a major cause of the country's profuse borrowing, leading to the high level of indebtedness and debt service costs, despite receiving considerable amounts of debt relief under the Highly Indebted Poor Country initiative in the mid-2000s. Ghana was ranked third in the world and the first in Africa with the highest interest payment because of its ballooning debt stock, which the economic and policy think tank describes as unsustainable. We have more in this report.
At a forum on the theme Ghana's domestic revenue mobilization woes, how do we fix it? The energy and policy think tank said revenue that are currently generated in the country are not enough to service the country's debt and pay salaries of public sector employees. Leslie Dwight-Mensah is a research fellow of IFS.
Since 2009, when we were spending 29.3% of public revenue on central government investment, and the dramatic deterioration such that by 2018, we're spending just about 10% of public revenue on central government investment. There has been an increase since then, including in 2020, driven by, election spending. But you see generally a declining trend in how much of the total public revenue mobilization goes into public investment.
Mr. Mensah also expressed worry that the country's present economic growth rate does not match its revenue growth, a situation he described could stifle the economy in the medium to long term if a remedy is not found.
Ghana's debt service revenue ratio is alarming and one of the highest in the world, reflecting the high cost of borrowing and low revenue mobilization. And because of these difficulties, government investment spending is falling, which will undermine the country's long-term economic growth and development. So what do we do? How do we deal with this debt problem, enhance public investment for accelerated growth? We ought to urgently address the revenue, expenditure, and extra budgetary issues that I highlighted. On expenditure, we have to make some very hard choices to realign public spending in favor of public investment by, one, cutting down the rate of growth of expenditure on public sector compensation.
On the role of the extractive sector in Ghana's comparatively low public sector revenue mobilization, senior research fellow at IFS Dr. Said Boachi said the country was earning very minimal from both the oil and mining sectors compared to its peers on the African continent. In 2018, the nation received 7.32 billion cedis from the extractive sector. However, excluding third-party revenues, the government received 5.73 billion cedis.
Of the 25 middle-income countries, Ghana is 23rd. higher than only 2 countries. Of the 14 sub-Saharan African countries in the sample, Ghana is 13th. And of all the economies in the sample, 35, Ghana is 32nd. It shows that Ghana is not doing well at all. But let's consider the performance assessment of Government of Ghana's revenue from the extractive sector, and it will help us to answer the question, is the extractive sector the main source of total revenue gap between Ghana and its peers? We saw that informal sector taxation is not the source. Real property taxation is not the source. The exemption system is significant, it's still smaller, as I said, than the gaps.
Away from that, 95% of all national ID programs worldwide have not worked owing to the funding models and change of government. Odile Ntiamwa, head of Joy Business, sat with the CEO of Margins Group, the company producing Ghana's national ID card, who says his company is fully paying for the cards now, looking at sustainability, foreigners, and paying in full, while organizations that will use the card in various services will also pay. Take a listen.
Okay, so we did a pilot somewhere in 2012 with a foreigner's ID, where we designed a fee-paying system. And the thing was, okay, margins, if you think you know what you're doing, and the first one that didn't work, then conceptualize, design, build, and finance what you think can work. We said we'll do that. Because why if it doesn't work? Because you don't have to worry about it. We're confident enough it will work. We're willing to invest in it on a fee-paying model, and then if it doesn't work, then we lose our money. That's how I felt it should be done. Because the private people are convinced that it will work. Why do they want government to finance it? And then if it doesn't work, they say, oh, we take our money and we go. That's what happened the first time. We collected data, we printed 4 million cards. We delivered only 900,000 cards. This is the first national ID project, after spending tens of millions of dollars. So the outcome is what you look at, not the investment. So the outcome is that we really deliver 900,000 cards. That's why we thought that we should change the model. Because we feel that governments have their needs, but they're busy doing other things. Private sector people who know what they are doing can conceptualize, design, build, finance at their own cost, so they can make sure that it works. Yeah. Provided that the risks are properly quantified, and there's risk registered, the model works properly, and it's bankable. So we did the first one, and it worked with the instant issues. So the idea was that,
and that was for only foreigners.
Foreigners.
Yeah.
But because the big national one had failed, the Bank of Ghana said, look, we need this national ID. But if Margins is doing the foreigners, that works. Then why don't they just do the nationals? That's how the conversation started. And so we started talking in 2014. We were asked to develop a new non-fee paying model. At that time, the late PVO was very convinced that if we were smart enough to define a fee model, then we should go in at our own cost, come up with a non-fee paying model.
And who pays for that? Government?
We were supposed to figure it out. They told us, go and figure it out. You're the private sector.
Yeah. Okay.
The then NIA, Larry Jete as chairman. So we tried to figure that out. It was very difficult, but we worked together with NIA to find a non-fee paying model.
No, just before you go on to the non-fee paying model, how much so far have you, for example, garnered from the fee-paying model, and how many people were?
Oh, because the fee-paying model, we're supposed to have at least 750,000 foreigners living in Ghana. Anecdotal evidence says we have more than that, about 2 million. The thing is that how can we run a country safely when we don't know who's here? And because the government can then offer digital services to foreigners without them having to go through bribery and suffering, you just go to a digital portal, you get electronic services, right? They should be willing to pay a fee that you test internationally to make sure that it's a fair fee, in order that they get the services. And there can be revenue to pay the private sector for their investment, their return on investment, and their debts. And there should be revenue to give back to the government. So it doesn't need to be a cost center. It can be a revenue center. That's the model. Today, I think we've registered something like 160,000 foreigners. So we're below the minimum number, which is 500,000. That's because as the Bank of Ghana predicted, you couldn't enforce selectively just foreigners without doing the nationals. You get me? If you're going to do enforcement, they have to do that cross-board, you know, and it has to be beneficial. Yeah. So we haven't reached even the minimum commencement number, but now that there's an uptake on that side, the foreigners will come up. So we know where people live, why they're here, and we're able to plan better for socio-economical, political, and security reasons to run a better data-driven economy where decisions are based on big data analysis,
Information.
not on superstition and guessing.
Well, the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, in collaboration with the World University Science of Canada, has launched a new business competition to empower women in technical and vocational education and training. The project director of the NAIP, Franklin Owusu-Karikari, is urging women to take advantage of the initiative, especially during this period of COVID-19 when people have lost their jobs. There is more in this report.
Business competition has been unveiled to empower women in non-traditional technical and vocational trades. The competition is a partnership between the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program and the World University Service of Canada. Here's Project Director of NAIP, Franklin Owusu-Karikari.
The Women in TVET Business Competition provides technical and financial support to women graduates, trainees, and entrepreneurs. That's startups and established businesses. So for this competition, we are looking at women who are already in the TVET sector, who are already have started something or they are in the process of starting something. They have gone through MVTI or COVET to be able to be trained, and specifically young women between the ages of 18 to 35. So the age underlined. And we'll be providing them training, so it includes access to business development services geared towards entrepreneurship enhancement, peer support network, and startup capital for the competition winners. The focus for this phase that we are doing is for those in Accra, Tema, metropolis. Then we are looking at Kumasi. Somebody will say, is it greater Kumasi or less than Kumasi? Honestly. So we are looking at the greater Kumasi as well. And we're also looking at secondly Takrade. By 25th of September 2021, the application comes to an end. So you have to make sure that from today up to 25th September, you get your application through.
Meanwhile, Project Director for World University Service Canada, Apia Boache, says her outfit believes that technical and vocational education and training is a strong pathway towards creating opportunities and empowerment for women.
So the INVEST project is a 5-year project that has funding from Global Affairs Canada with an interest in creating sustainable pathways for young people to be able to access non-traditional skill areas. And so we are particularly interested in young women accessing male-dominated trades because that is where we see an alliance between the interest of the government but also the economic prosperity or prospect of Ghana. And so we want to align where the market gaps are and what the needs are with strong, gender-sensitive, market-relevant skills training for young women.
The competition will support 5,000 women within 5 years, both financially and through business development projects. The overall winner is expected to receive a minimum of 5,000 Canadian dollars.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Today is the first day of September and the last day, actually, of work for the country manager of KLM Dutch Airlines, Dick van Nieuwenhuizen. As he exits, Dick joins us for this exclusive interview on his perspective on Ghana's aviation space, what needs improving, and the prospect of KLM Dutch Airlines in Ghana. Dick, we're so grateful that you joined us. Today's your last day at work. How has the journey been for you, having KLM Ghana route so far?
Thank you very much that I got an opportunity to be in the program. Much appreciated. Indeed, actually it was yesterday my last day, but I'm leaving tonight. 5 years Ghana, a very interesting time with positives and negatives, but if I want to conclude it was a super time in this country. This is really a nice country.
In trying to position ourselves as an aviation hub, do you think we need to review our tax systems as it could have a rippling effect on ticketing?
Yeah, that is Ghana has a lot of wishes. They want to be the aviation hub in Western Africa. Now, I think the country has enough potential economically, politically. It is a stable country. The currency compared to the region is relatively stable. But my biggest objection or my biggest fear is the cost at the airport. The cost for getting a visa, it is also very difficult, or compared to other tourist countries, to get a visa. The price of the visa is pretty expensive. And also, if you see at the airport for the passenger, the airport tax is $100 economy, $150 business class. I think if they can change the system of the fares, lower down, there is a clear potential for tourism in this market. And also, I think, even for a national carrier.
Well, so I also want to take your thoughts on development regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, because we do know that airlines really were struck so badly. But from your perspective, how did we manage the airspace in terms of COVID management systems?
Compliments, one word. If I see what the policy is for this government, how they did it, I have actually compliments. Although difficult for the passenger once in a while to understand. But did you know that the Dutch government implemented the same system as Ghana? Ghana is one of the few countries where you had to do a PCR and an antigen test. The PCR test you had to do in the country from origin. And then upon arrival, you had to do an antigen test. So actually, you had a double lock on the door for COVID. Funny enough, 6 months later, the Netherlands copied the same. You had to do a COVID test, a PCR test, and a negative antigen test. If I see how the process is being handled at the airport upon arrival, again, $150 for an antigen test is a lot of money, but the system and how it is done complements it. It looks very professional. I get a lot of compliments how it has been organized.
Great. Well, you've seen it all regarding the uphill climbs and slopey seasons of aviation. I want to get your assessment on Ghana's aviation industry moving forward, now that, we're heralded as the, aviation hub in the sub-region.
If you look at the position of Ghana, we are in the middle of Africa for east, west, north, south. Ghana has really the potential for an aviation hub. There's domestic traffic within Africa is always a little bit difficult. If you want to fly here to Côte d'Ivoire or to Angola or whatever, it is difficult to get connections. In the past, there was no east-west connections. Now there are east-west connections. And I think there is a real potential if you start a national carrier by starting domestic and then slowly increasing frequencies in the region. There is a clear potential. If you start immediately by competing with KLM to Amsterdam or with British Airways to London, I don't think that will manage in the beginning. Don't forget that it is a costly exercise. KLM was losing during the COVID period $10 million per day, not per week, per day. And that is pretty costly, and especially for a starting carrier.
Great. Well, Dick, today's your last day at work. We want to have a clear understanding of the prospect of KLM in Ghana and who exactly takes over from you beginning tomorrow.
Yeah, KLM is doing well. And even now, if you can say pre-COVID, it is not really pre-COVID, but I'm flying full load factors. The flights are full, although there is a lot of VFR traffic, diaspora coming to Accra to enjoy the holidays. That is now, people are flying back to Europe again. KLM will stay in this country. KLM will also operate with 7 flights a day. We now operate the 777-300 with a seat capacity of 416 seats. And that is our largest aircraft, and it operates to Ghana. So on that part, I think we are well established in this country. We are recognized. I have completed my job here, at least for me personally. My successor is Mr. Mees van Ooyek. It happened to be he's with me because we're in the handover. Am I allowed to hand over the camera to my successor that he can say a few words?
Yeah, just 30 seconds of that will do for us.
Yeah, a short one. One moment.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, hello and welcome to the program. Congratulations upon your appointment. Help us understand, your main priorities now that you're acting manager for KLM in Ghana?
And Air France, indeed, as Dick is saying. I had a wonderful handover here with Dick the last couple of days. He has been introducing me to the market and all the business we are doing here. So I'm very excited to start and hope to meet some of you in the near future.
Great, and we shall have more interaction subsequently on the marketplace as well. Dick Van, we're grateful to you and congratulations once again to the new incoming, that's the actual manager of KLM Dutch Airlines Ghana. We have more in our subsequent bulletins, but of course still to come, encroachment on buffer zones of quarry sites, hampering operations of mining activities worth billions of dollars. We'll hear from an advisor to the quarry industry.
Ports and harbors, tunnels, hydroelectric dams, water reservoirs, underground sewage, breakwater at seafront.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Yeah, welcome back. Commercial quarry operators have expressed worry over the encroachment of the buffer zone around the quarry sites by settlement. According to them, the situation is negatively impacting their productivity, which could affect the extraction of rocks, sand, or minerals for the construction purposes. The Commercial Quarries Operators Association of the Ashanti region are therefore appealing to government and other stakeholders to take action to safeguard the multi-billion-dollar quarry industry, which continues to support job creation and contributions to GDP. John Dodo is the former director of the Geological Survey and advisor to the quarry industry in the Ashanti region.
As we sit here, there are so many challenges facing the industry. And this comes from of course, encroachment of buffer zones around the quarries. Let me explain it a little bit further. After every quarry, when every quarry is given, there is a buffer of at least 500 meters around the quarry. The reason for this buffer is to make sure that the quarry is not encroached upon, because the activities of the quarry include blasting, and the rocks which are broken down can fly to a distance of about 300 meters. So to be on the safer side, 500 meters around the quarry have been selected or have been reserved for the quarry. But this is what is happening. There are a lot of settlers, building contractors, individuals are encroaching upon and making the quarry almost unoperational. Because when you encroach upon a quarry, then it makes it difficult for the quarries to operate within the specific terms which they are mandated because of the risks and others. And it is hoped that through this press conference, we shall hear something positive in this respect. In conclusion, we are saying that in the way forward, we are saying that the effective collaboration and coordination of the following underlisted agencies and the strong government action will produce the desired results.
Well, the advisor to the quarry industry in the Ashanti region, John Dodo, also indicated that the quarry sector, if harnessed, could wield more gains for socio-economic development than gold mines.
Ports and harbors, tunnels, hydroelectric dams, water reservoirs, underground sewage, breakwater at seafront, pier, water reserves, reservoir dams, roads as base materials in waterlogged swampy areas. So we can see that this granite, which we are treating it in any way, is a very valuable material. And in fact, even the post-life of a quarry is also very important. It can be used for recreational purposes, for aquaculture, for irrigation, and for domestic consumption. So we could see that this industry is very, 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 very important. I have said that in so many places that the quarry industry, if managed well, can generate resources, which is even greater than from gold.
Now, Toyota Ghana Limited, by way of improving customer experience and prolonging engine life of its vehicles, has introduced the highest grade of motor oil. The product, tested for 4 million kilometers, is manufactured with the latest technology and specification, with its ability to perform in extreme temperature and driving conditions. The synthetic oil is expected to improve performance of the Toyota engine. There is more in this report.
With the launch of Toyota genuine motor oil in Tema, customers of Toyota will no longer rely on generic engine oil for their vehicles. The lubricant, which is manufactured with the latest technology and specification, comes in 3 variants: 0W20SP for only petrol engine, and 5W30SP and 15W40CI for both petrol and diesel engine. Head of Sales Operations at Toyota Ghana, Dulamte, touches on the protection the oil provides. He represented Managing Director Koji Yanaka at the garage seminar and official launch of the lubricants.
It will not be an understatement to say that the lifeline of an automobile is clean lubrication. The longevity of your car's engine is greatly assured using a genuine engine oil recommended by the manufacturer. The TGMO is specially formulated with optimum cleaning and protection capabilities for your Toyota vehicle. It also provides complete engine protection against friction and heat stress for better performance and maximum engine life.
After sales manager Toyota Ghana, Sedi Dusi, says the motor oil increases fuel economy of their vehicles.
What we are used to is for a generic oil to be made, and every brand of vehicle uses it. For this particular one, the design was based on the vehicle Toyota, its design, its manufacturing and everything. So this oil specifically made for the brand Toyota. So when you use this oil, as he mentioned, you increase the fuel economy that the car is going to give you, and that's what makes it better compared to the other oils in the market. There will be some that is going to be used for diesel and petrol together. There is one that is used only for petrol.
And that'll be all for the marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. For more news, to log on to myjoyonline.com. Many thanks once again for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.